Hello, everyone, and welcome to TLC's Webinar Wednesday. I'm your host, Ria Stark, and thank you for joining us this Wednesday afternoon. This is a special Webinar Wednesday because not only is February National Library Lovers Month here in the US, but our webinar happens to fall on Valentine's Day as well. So in order to share the love, we wanted to highlight a number of ways that TLC loves libraries and truly builds partnerships with our customers. And of course, we'd love to hear from you all as well. So throughout the presentation today, we're going to have a number of polls where you'll be able to share how much you love libraries too. And if you stick around all the way to the end, we do have a special treat to share with you as well. Now, if your colleagues couldn't make it, or if you want to rewatch this webinar again tomorrow, it will be available on our website at tlcdelivers.com/webinars. And without further ado, please join me in welcoming our panelists today, our very own Tammy Solom. Tammy, thanks for joining us.
Hi, everybody.
And the first poll that we'd like to kick off is, how do you know TLC? So let me go ahead and launch this poll in just a moment. That'll appear on your screen. Do you know TLC from our integrated library system? Are you using it or have used it? Or maybe from our metadata services like ItsMark or our catalogers reference shelf. Maybe you stop by our booth and visit us for our amazing swag t-shirts and scout dogs. Or maybe you know TLC is tender loving care. I didn't add chasing waterfalls on here, but I wanted to add that too. So maybe you know TLC is another other option. All right, I'll leave that up for just a moment while those polls come in. But so far, a good percent, that's okay. A good percent is they know us from our integrated library system. All right, I'll go ahead and stop that and pass it back to you, Tammy.
All right, thanks, Rhea. All right, so a little bit about me. I come from a background of farmers and educators and readers. So on the picture that you see on the left in the heart, there are three ladies. That is my great grandma on the far left, and she was a teacher. And her friends, they were in a small rural community, and they felt that it was important to have a public library. So they worked very hard to make sure that they could get that open. And that picture is from the opening day of that library. But some of my memories are growing up. You can see that's me sitting on my dad's lap, but my parents reading to my sisters and I, my grandparents, my aunts and uncles would always read to us. And that tradition kind of expanded to my kids. We all read to them, and today they're young adults, and they recommend books that I would like to read, or even their grandma would like to read. So that's part of where then I went to get my education degree, and for now 30 years I've been working with library automation companies, which is a little bit different than what my great grandma did, but it brought me here today. So that's part of my story of how I ended up here today. But what's your story of how you got here?
All right, the next poll is your inspiration. So what inspired you to become a librarian or to work for libraries? My favorite, I love to read. I feel like a lot of people pick that and then don't end up reading nearly as much on the job. Inspired by another librarian in your life, or maybe it runs in the family. We hear that story a lot, especially at TLC. Do you have a passion for serving communities? Or a couple of accidental librarians? I see you've already clicked that, where you just kind of fell into the role. And a couple of others are showing up as well. If you did answer other, can you tell us in the Q&A what your inspiration was? And I'll read some of those towards the end as well. Yeah, we're getting a lot. So far, not a whole lot of runs in the family, but love to read and inspired by another librarian seem to be the top answers. All right, I'll go ahead and end that poll. Back to you, Tammy.
All right, thanks. All right, let's listen for a second.
When anyone thinks about TLC, I would like for them to think about TLC as being the innovative company who never forgets our end user, whether that is the library patron and of course the librarian. That is our goal, to provide the best product, service, and support to that one and only librarian. When anyone thinks about TLC.
All right, sorry about that. But that was Mrs. Murphy, who is the founder and CEO of TLC. So I think that was a great quote that she had. But as you can see here in this diagram, TLC has been delivering solutions since 1974. And so they have developed, they have acquired, and TLC has partnered. And we're going to talk about that today. A little fun fact, though, that I want to share is that back in the early 1980s, Mrs. Murphy, she actually collaborated with Hitachi, and she flew to Japan to get a CD-ROM drive that would allow that she brought back to the corporate office, and that allowed TLC to put Mark records onto a CD-ROM. And that drive today is in the Smithsonian Institute in Washington, D.C. So I think that's kind of interesting to learn about. But as you can see here, so in the 1990s, TLC developed. So they released Library.Solution, and they had the first native web-based pack. And then moving on to the 2000s, they acquired. So they acquired Carl Corporation, which has Carl.Solution, Integrated Library Solution, as well as TechLogic. Then in the 2010s, they continued to do developing, some more development in Carl and in Library.Solutions, which led to the 2020, where they partnered with Oracle for TLC Cloud Services, which leads us to today in 2024, which, wow, 50 years. So 2024, TLC is celebrating the 50th anniversary. And, you know, what an accomplishment that is. But a few facts about TLC. So it is woman owned, but also 50% of the senior management is women, which is pretty cool, I think. And more than 20% of the workforce actually have their MLIS degree. So that's also a great fact. One thing that you can see on the screen, TLC is the only library software company that actually supports United Against Book Bans. And I think that is very important. So in 50 years, you can see TLC has grown and changed just as library has. So if you think about libraries have always promoted literacy. They help build community, provide access, but think of over all those years, the type of access that you are now offering. It's not just books anymore, it's ebooks, it's other digital content. So as you grow and expand your solutions, TLC continues to grow to help support what you are needing.
All right, we have another poll, which is what services do your library offer? Let me go back and launch this one. And just like Tammy said, we've been growing and innovating for 50 years, and libraries have changed quite a bit in that amount of time. So we want to see how all you are changing as well. So there aren't book-related questions on here. These are like makerspace, library of things, community outreach, computer technology classes, arts and crafts club. I keep trying to join our crochet club at my local library, and I love that they offer that. Also business resume support, and that other question as well. And I'm going to leave this poll up for just a moment because we did get some answers to our last one in the Q&A. One person shared that they started working as an aide in their high school library. I feel like that's the gateway into librarianship. I worked in my my middle school library, the same thing, and it just changed my world. We have another one. I wanted a career at an academic institution, and my then supervisor director overheard me and encouraged me to pursue a master's in library science. I love when there's an inspiration story. And last one, and then I'll stop sharing this poll. I just know how important reading is to education. If you have trouble reading, you'll have trouble with all other subjects. Readers can learn anything they are interested in by reading. Yes, 100%. And then
I love that.
Yeah, I might quote you later on that one. I'll reach out, Rebecca. All right, this poll, we have 45% makerspace, 45% community outreach, and then 55 computer technology classes. Those are the top 3 results.
Awesome.
All right, and I believe we have another poll right after this one, which is, what do you value most in your vendor partnerships? So I'll launch that one as well. This one, you only select one. Vendor listens to my needs. The vendor develops based on my requests. The vendor has exceptional and friendly support. The vendor has intuitive products, or other. And again, if you answer that other, I want to hear about it in the Q&A. Tammy, what was your reason for becoming a librarian and joining libraries?
Well, and I'm not a librarian, but I have worked in a library. My sister's a librarian. It's like it's a family thing. If you're not in education, you're a librarian. And then I've just worked with the library automation for so long, and I love it.
Yeah, not to oversell it, but I love that automation can help libraries too. You know, it's the behind the
Mhm.
scenes work. And I think that kind of
Exactly.
plays into this poll question. And we have 62% saying the vendor has exceptional and friendly support. So support is leading this poll. Go ahead and pass it back to you, Tammy.
Okay. And I'll just say that I started my library automation career in tech support, so I do know it's important. So I do want to talk a little bit about customer driven development because I think it's a key thing for a partnership between the software automation company and their customers, because you have to have development into what your needs are. And so there has to be communication so that we understand those needs. And I've only been with TLC for a little over a year, and I have to say that is one of the main things that impressed me. So in 2023, a lot of our school district customers were reaching out to TLC and saying they needed more functionality so that parents and guardians had more engagement and selection into what their students were reading. And so we really partnered with school district customers to get that development into the solution so that they would have that functionality for the next school year. So that is just so key. But we've also put a lot of other functionality in, again, just based on comments and needs from our customers. The one that I really like is the library reports dashboard, because if you like data, it's just so easy to get all that content at the tip of your fingers. So that's one of the things that I like. But we continue to develop and put new functionality in based on customer feedback. And I think that is critical. The other part of that is we do partner with our customers, but it's important to have strong partnerships with other library vendors. So to partner with the vendors that you are working with in the library. So why is that important? Because easy access for your end users. So making it easy for them to search and find the resources that they need. So authentication from our system to the other vendors that you're using. So that's an important thing, but it also just helps you have your libraries function easier as well. So you can see some of the different partners that we have here. Our newest one that we partnered with, we have a lot of our customers that use teaching books. What's nice about that is that we are the only library automation vendor that actually authenticates the user to the content. So with a click of the button, you're brought into teaching books and you don't have to re-log in, and just makes it, again, easy. And teaching books is such a nice resource. Mackin, TLC has worked with Mackin for a long time. And again, why is this important? But it does help libraries be more efficient because the MARC record import is easier, but also then easy for your end user because authenticating to Mackin via. So that's something that we've been offering for quite some time. One of our newer partners is Class Shelf Plus. So this is a solution that helps manage classroom library collections. So that is something that we are offering today as well. Again, one of my favorites, TLC Go, which is our mobile app. But what's nice about this is that it's customizable to whatever your needs. It would be great for school districts that are one-to-one because you easily can push it out to your devices, whether you're an iOS or Android, Chromebooks or whatever. But I like the fact that it's customizable. And if you need this so you want self-checkout, that's ready to go. So again, it's a great partnership that we had with Solus to get this developed. TechLogic, and I'm going to start this video. There's no sound, but TechLogic, TLC is the parent company for TechLogic. And so what you're seeing is just a wave of the wand for RFID. So TechLogic offers RFID solutions, and they're doing inventory. So if you think about inventory and how you go and you scan each book individually, the time it takes and what that does to your wrists or whatever, that look at how easy that is. So whether it takes weeks or how long for inventory, this takes no time at all. Excuse me. And one of our customers actually in 2023, Rochester City Schools actually implemented RFID. So you can see what they had to say there. But again, it was to have more efficient inventories. And I know some school libraries that have, it takes them weeks to do inventory because they have such a large collection, but you're also trying to circulate when you're doing your inventory as well. So this just can really make that much more easy. So I'm going to show a couple of quotes from customers, but I want to remind you of what Mrs. Murphy said earlier. Quote, Mrs. Murphy said, "Our goal is to provide the best product, service, and support." And that's what you all just said too, is support is critical. And they all go together. When I started in support, and they said you can't have just good support or just a good product. You have to have it all together. So it's the company, it's the product, and it's the support. And you have to have all those things to have a great solution for customers. And so here's another quote too, but TLC does love libraries and librarians love TLC support. So
Thanks, Tammy. And we do have one more poll. Do you still have your first library card? I'll launch that up on the screen. And I think I do somewhere. I may have lost a couple along the way, but I think I still have my first one. What about you, Tammy?
I did until I moved to Texas, and then it went away before then.
That's okay. Now you can get a new library
A new
card
one.
in Texas.
That's exactly right. And just a little fact while we're waiting for everybody to respond to this, my mother comes and stays with me January through March, and she goes to the library every day. Just a few blocks away.
That's incredible. I love when people build that into their routines to be able to go to the library. And you are in light company because 70% of our attendees wish they still had theirs. 10% do. Good job. Frame that.
Wow.
Frame that library card. And the rest say yeah, it's somewhere. So I do want to open this up for Q&A. So if you have any questions about what TLC services you can offer or ways that we can enhance your support or what you're looking for, we'd love to hear it. And while those come in, we did get another comment as you were sharing some of the support testimonials and the collaboration. One person says, "We are, in caps, so grateful for your collaboration," heart emoji. So, absolutely. And while we're waiting for a couple more questions to come in, the last one we like to ask at the end of every webinar is whether you want more information. If you saw something you liked today, maybe some of those integrations Tammy talked about, teaching books, or oh, Tammy, I'm blanking. What was the one after teaching books?
Teaching books. You would ask me that. Mackin,
Mackin, thank you.
Plus, Solus
Yes.
with our mobile library app, TechLogic for inventory.
See, I just wanted her to repeat the list. So if you have any questions on any of those integrations, we do also have a couple of past webinars as well. So we did offer a Class Shelf webinar a couple of weeks ago. I believe that was back in December, and one on TechLogic recently. So that, along with this recording, is available at tlcdelivers.com/webinars. We did get a comment in. You had Clever listed. Can you talk about the collaboration that we have with Clever?
Sure, I can answer that. So within the last year, we started doing more with single sign-on. And so Clever is one of the options that we have for single sign-on at this time.
Absolutely. And I'll go ahead and end the poll for now while we wait for a couple more questions to come in. But we really take our customer development requests to heart. And as our customers reach out to us, we incorporate that back into our product. And we just think y'all are superheroes too. So as Tammy's sharing on our screen, we've developed a lot of shirts that praise librarians. We believe libraries are essential. We believe everything that you do makes you a superhero. And these are some of the shirts we've been giving away at our conferences this last year, but we wanted to offer everyone who's on the call today $5 off the TLC Love. So if you want to grab yours, please do. Oh, we got another question in. I'll leave that on the screen. Do you have any school districts who are using TLC Go, the mobile app that we have?
I think we're in the process of working on that.
Yes, I believe so. We have a couple in the works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not fully implemented, so we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, and one of the integrations that you didn't mention, but we are also working on is TLC Engage Spaces, which is our reservation system for rooms and for programming. So for all of you who said you're doing maker spaces and those computer classes and everything else that your library has to offer, we are now also offering reservations as well to be able to track some of those events with more statistics and allow folks to go in and book study rooms, book the maker space, book different sections as well. So let us know if you want more information on that. We'll do a webinar for that this year. All right, I'm not seeing any more questions coming in. I think we can go to the next slide, which is just our recap for tlcdelivers.com/webinars, where you can grab this recording. We wanted to be short and sweet today, just send out a nice little love letter to libraries, and we appreciate everyone being able to spend some time with us on Valentine's Day. So thank you, Tammy, for your presentation, and thank you everybody for being able to join us today.
Thanks, everybody.
We'll see you on the next one.